I'm Rosie Grindle, formerly known as Rosa Maria Ladron de Guevara, and that's spelled Ladrondeguevara. And I'm going to talk about Generation Enye, which came around the same time as Generation X. Generation Enye was about families that brought their children to the United States from other Hispanic countries to move away from different regimes. Mine in particular came from Cuba to move away from the Castro regime and the oppression that was occurring during the mid to late 1960s. One of the big things with the Generation Enye was that parents didn't trust, or Hispanic parents didn't trust their children going to daycares. Therefore, the grandparents stayed at home and took care of the children. I was very fortunate. My grandparents actually did take care of me and took care of my cousins, which in total we turned out to be 11. So I grew up with my cousins, knowing them as my brothers and my sisters. What that meant for us, though, is that when we went to school, we didn't know English. We knew Fred Flintstone, Tom and Jerry. Woody Woodpecker was good, but we did not know how to fluently speak with other kids in the classroom in English. So many of us experienced having to participate in ASL classes, and for those who don't know, that's English as a second language. Throughout the school years to get to that part where we could participate in the academics that the English classrooms, gave us. Generation X probably didn't go through that, and that they all spoke English, and we kind of had to catch up. We went through a lot of different cultural experiences through that. We spoke Spanish more than we spoke English. We only spoke Spanish in the home, then went to school, spoke English. There were times that I remembered in first and second grade thinking, I'm speaking English. Oh my God. I'm not speaking Spanish. I'm writing in English. Oh my God. I actually had to physically think through these different things where other people probably just flowed. Another big thing is we are very big into Catholicism. And I do remember that my first experience going to church was that everything I knew was in Spanish. I did my first communion in Spanish. And then I had to learn it all over in English and did my confirmation in English. So I had to experience two different masses because as we grew older, Generation Enye, we wanted to explore the English. We wanted to explore the American culture, but still wanted to please our Hispanic families. So we definitely went through different trials and tributes growing up. Then we go to high school. And high school is an adventure because our friends are having slumber parties, our friends are going out, no curfew. Slumber parties meant your cousins came over and hung out and slept at your house. You weren't allowed to go to friends' house to sleep over. Curfews where you were going out with your parents as your chaperones. It became very difficult and very challenging. And then you hit 18, and you're thrown with, do you stay home? Because in a Hispanic family, you stay home until you get married. You can go to college down the street, but you don't really explore leaving the family, living in a different location away from home. When it came time for me to go to college, this is when I decided it was time to explore and move some barriers. At that point, I decided to not just move across the street from my parents, but to actually move away from Miami to Tampa and made the choice to go to the University of South Florida. Still today, my father comes to me and says, "You didn't ask for permission to leave home." And he genuinely means it. He is still very upset with me for not staying and living inside the home till I got married. Other things that did occur is that I didn't get married at the age of 19, which was very common in our family. Versus I waited to get my master's degree and then married at the age of 28. Many barriers were broken, but still deep down inside, Generation Enya lives through me and through many others that experienced that culture. Where we weren't American Caucasian, but we weren't Cubans born in another country. We were born in the United States, first generation. Hi.